Fall is in the air and it's officially spooky season. To celebrate, I am giving away a $100 Visa gift card. All you got to do is submit your favorite photo or video of a day at the pumpkin patch, corn maze, your favorite hiking adventure, your favorite fish catch, or anything fall outdoor related, and submit it to the Oophole app contest. Link below to the Oophole app. Submit your favorite photo or video. Have a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card. Good luck.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Fishing the DMV. I'm your host, Thomas Ahrens. Today, I am here with Emily Reinhardt of Front Royal, Virginia, and I'm really glad we're able to finally make this work.
I am too. I've seen you, but we've never gotten really to meet or talk, so I'm excited.
So, I mean, just to really get us started with, how did you get into this crazy sport?
I've been fishing for a really long time. We had a pond in my parents' backyard that was stocked, so I started fishing there. Then there's a lake behind my grandparents' house that's kind of like an oversized pond. So I bought a kayak from Vibe during like the peak of COVID. So we went down there, and got that. And I would put the kayak in the lake back there, and I just really enjoyed it and kind of taught myself how to bass fish. But before that, I was catfishing in Front Royal in the river. So I'm really kind of like a cat fisherman turned bass fisherman. So that was what I would do like every night for years. And I don't know, I just kind of ended up over here, and now I'm doing tournaments and all sorts of stuff. So
2020 was a weird year.
It was.
It really was. It felt like everything slowed down, and time just, it felt like it was almost like dog years, where 2020 lasted way too long. And to think that now it's 2024, in that time between COVID and now, what was the biggest, like, how did that build up to tournaments? It's one thing to say, like, I'm going to get a kayak during COVID and do something outside because everything was shut down, too. You're touring now almost. You're going to the Susquehanna River. You're going to places fishing big time kayak tournament trails.
Yeah, I don't know, because I kind of just started doing that a year ago. So I really spent like 2020 through 2023 up until like August of just kind of fun fishing. I'd like pond hop and do stuff like that and still catfish the river. And then I saw the Smalley Chaser River Bassin series, and I had never really fished the river for smallmouth or anything like that. But I decided I really wanted to try it. So I started doing that and saw that they had like online monthly tournaments. So I signed up for a few of those, and I guess I started fishing at a good time, like August and the fall, and it went really well. So I did pretty good in some of those tournaments, and I just decided that I wanted to try to do the local like trails. So, because I know we have like MVKBA and stuff like that. So I had always followed them. But I, just decided that I wanted to try to do that. So now I'm doing all of it.
Did you have a moment that you felt like you were ready for it? Or was it more of just like, YOLO, let me just give this a shot? Or was there a moment where you're like, hey, I think I'm ready to try to compete?
I think I just kind of said YOLO because I'm just really happy to be like fishing and doing the tournaments. There's definitely times where I'm like, this is a little out of my element. So I'm just one of those people that's like happy to be there and just trying to catch fish and just seeing how it goes. So I definitely have like imposter syndrome sometimes, and I'm like, this is a little much, but I have fun, so I just sign up and just do it.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that, about imposter syndrome. What makes you feel that?
Just because I've only been really like, because pond hopping is fun and it's fishing, but like I feel like fishing the river and lakes and things like that is so like, I don't know, I just think you need to work your way up to it a little bit, and I kind of just skipped that because I had like a good August, September, October in the river, and then I just I got a new kayak. Like I bought an Old Town Autopilot and then just decided like I was going to fish these tournaments, so just kind of threw myself out there. And I had a lot of support though. Like I made a lot of friends at the kayak expo at Jake's, and kind of grew my following on social media a little bit. So I had like a lot of support. So I was like, I might as well just do this. a lot of people told me I should try it, so that's kind of what I did.
Your social media has blown up insane, and I'm assuming like if you keep plugging away, it's going to just go parabolic here. It is weird when you start doing this. And I've talked to people with 1 million subs to just 10,000, and that imposter syndrome. Everyone has said it before, and it's weird until you're in it, so to speak, and people stop you on the street. It's. I don't think you ever get used to it.
No, I've had that happen this weekend. I took the new kayak to Lake Frederick because all the river's still blown out. It's crazy. So I went there, and someone thought that I was Scylla. I need to tell her about that, but he asked if I was her. I was like, no, but I know her. So that was funny.
That is good company to keep, though.
It is. Yeah. Scylla's so great. She's really helped me since the Kayak Expo and like fishing with MAKBF and stuff. She wasn't able to because she had surgery, but that first Potomac tournament, she was supporting me and like texting me and stuff and telling me good luck. So that was nice.
Going from the Kayak Expo at Jake's, which was around the February time period, and now we are, sitting in October when this thing is being recorded. Looking at your year so far, what can you reflect on that something you did well, something that you need to improve on?
Something I did well, I think, is just kind of putting myself out there. I don't really see anything wrong with like signing up for tournaments if you feel, I mean, even if you've never fished somewhere, like you should just go and do it because I'm really like focused on fishing being fun. So even if you don't feel ready, I just say go for it. But that's me. So I'm happy that I signed up for some of the things that I did and went and did that. And I definitely feel like I could have pre-fished more, and I need to expand some lures and stuff that I use. So there's a lot to improve on, and I think just realizing a lot can go wrong and just being prepared for that because I have a lot go wrong all the time. So
you get in your own head too, and sometimes it feels like that negativity just builds on itself, where if you lose one or if you break something getting out of your truck or whatever, and that karma just follows you all day.
Yeah, I've had a lot of things happen like that. Like I went out the other day and I did a tournament for Yackers for Smallies, and it was a Shenandoah tournament, and my whole anchor line broke. And it was when we got that last storm before the hurricane, and I just had to I put in, well, I won't say where I put in, but I had to float like 10 miles because I wanted to do the tournament, and I got to my takeout spot at like 9 o'clock. So I was like, I can't get out. I need to keep fishing. So I had to do like 10 miles. It's just stuff like that. You got to be prepared, I think.
What was it? Was there any places that you fished this year for a tournament that you've never been on before? And what was that experience like?
Yeah, I had never fished at any of the places except for the Shenandoah. So the Potomac, I had never fished there. I felt like I did pretty good. Like for my first time, I put in at Mattawoman, and I know a few other people that put in there, and I felt like it would go okay since they do all the boat tournaments. They say they release all the fish there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was like, all right, that'll be good for me. I've never been here. I don't know how to fish tide. Maybe I can catch something. So that went pretty good. My first fish was like a 17 and a quarter. I was happy.
Nice.
I was happy with that because other people, they were, a little bit smaller than that. It was a tough weekend, I think, for some people. Some people did really good. So I was happy with that. I didn't get a limit, though. I caught 4 fish. But I was happy with that because I had never been there. I don't know how to do the tide or any of that stuff. I didn't fish day 2 of MAKBF because that was my first real in-person tournament, if I'm remembering. Yeah. So I only did day 1 with NVKBA and MAKBF. So I just left after the first day.
That's impressive, though. I mean, your first tidal water can be very frustrating if you don't understand where they set up during the different times of day in the tide. So that's definitely a win to show up there completely with no experience and to almost get a limit.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I was really happy. So I still don't know how to fish tide. I'm ready to go back and kind of practice with that. And then the next one that I went to was the Conowingo. I had never fished there. So that was for MAKBF. That went okay. Definitely had some issues. Caught a couple fish, and then I almost lost my jerkbait rod. So I ended up in the water.
How did that happen?
I went after it, and I guess I leaned over a little too far, and I definitely fell in, but I got my rod back. So,
Oh my God.
but that was bad. So I changed clothes, and I did go back out there, but then it was just so windy. I didn't stay the whole day and fish. I did not get a limit either. I ended up with, I think, two or three fish, smallmouth and a largemouth. So that was cool. It was fun to be there, but the weather was so bad then too, so windy.
It was cold.
It was very cold, and I had to change which boat ramp I was going to put in the morning. Luckily, I like had some Josh Evans. He was helping me. He told me to go to their boat ramp because I was going to go to a place that probably wouldn't have been very good with my kayak. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah. So I had to do like a whole switcheroo and then do like a 40-minute drive, and the whole day was crazy.
So after these two events, first one, really good performance. The second one, you almost drown retrieving a rod, get back out there. A disaster of a day. When you're driving home, what's going through your mind about your season so far?
I don't know. I wasn't upset or anything because I'm still like just happy-go-lucky to be fishing, but I was cold and wet, and I was like, oh, this is hard. Like, it's very hard. I don't think people know how difficult it is just to wake up that early, make sure you have all your stuff. It's a lot of like mental pressure, I feel like, just to remember everything and to go out there and do it. It's very like taxing on your body. I just think it's hard.
No, it is 100%. And especially if you don't have, for the individuals out there that compete with just a pedal type of kayak, where there were people trying to pedal across Mattawoman, Piscataway, places like that. That's a lot of exercise that you're getting through 8 hours.
That is a lot. I even had a motor, and it took a while to get across Mattawoman. I was like just thankful I had a motor, so I can't imagine.
So those two tournaments are down. What was the next one that you fished?
The next one I fished was in May on the Shenandoah for NBKBA.
Okay.
And we both did that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one where torrential rain.
Absolute flood. It was insane.
Terrible. I have like a spot that I really like to go to, and it's not far from my house, probably 20 minutes. So I got to pre-fish a lot, and I went to Jake's, and I got some tubes, and I had never fished with that before. So Roger and everybody in there helped me, pick out tubes and the jig and everything. So luckily, that's the only reason I caught fish that weekend. Like, the bike completely turned off. It was horrible in my area.
So without you giving away your spot, were you a main stem, a North Fork, South Fork, just generically?
South Fork.
Were you afraid? Because I dismissed the South Fork for two reasons. One, because of the rain that it might get blown out, but two, pressure. It seemed like if a lot of people floated it, you'd be divvying up too many fish. Were you worried about that at all?
I wasn't, without giving away my spot, I wasn't, because I don't see people fish there. Like I started fishing there last summer, and I never saw anyone there ever. And then this year I did see people floating and on tubes and things like that. But I mean, I have only seen like maybe 3 fishermen. I don't know why. Maybe they just don't go at the same time as me, because I don't think it's that secret of a spot. I don't know. But I hardly ever see anyone. So when I got there tournament morning, like, I wasn't shocked to not see anybody in the parking lot. And there was one other person that fished there, though. So I can't remember his name, but he showed up, and he floated way past me. And I wasn't really worried about the pressure, though, just because I never see anyone. That's
always what I worry about when you fish the smallmouth tournaments on the Shenandoah or the Upper Potomac, Susquehanna not as much, is if you get into a bad float where you have 3 or 4 people. When you're talking about the South Fork, would you consider your home water? Would it be the North Fork or just the Shenandoah entirely?
I don't know, because I live out here in Fort Valley, so I can kind of pick, like, I could go to Riverton if I felt like it. I could pick that. But I would say the South Fork is like, that's where I fish all the time. Like, I've never fished the North Fork or the main stem for smallmouth. if that, so that kind of gives it away. But I fish the South Fork only.
Why?
That's just, it's really close to my house, and I just have like a couple floats that really produce good fish for me. Not a lot of numbers, but they're pretty sizable. I've caught, people catch a lot more than this, but I've caught like 3 citations in this one section, and it just always produces for me. So, I might go and only catch like 3 or 4 fish, but the average size for me is like, I don't know, they normally end up being like 18, 19, 20. There's a lot of riffles. It's like the perfect fishing area that you could like imagine in your head.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try to get up there and fish both of the splits before. I grew up in Purcellville, so the main stem was really where I kind of cut my teeth, which is sad because, the main stem for so many years was bad. It's finally coming back, but your section has always been like the historical haunt for big smallmouth.
Yeah, I've always heard that, and I never would fish for them. I would just pond hop and do stuff like that, and then I finally went out, and then I spent a lot of time out there. Like even last year, I graduated college and I got a new job, and I took off 2 weeks and I fished every single day. Just that was right when I started fishing. It was in September, so I took 2 weeks off from my job and just spent every day out there.
Wow, that's the life.
I was lucky to be able to do that. But I would really like to expand and go to the North Fork and the main stem. I would really like to do that.
So getting back now that I derailed us, getting back to that tournament. So it's downpouring rain. You get to the boat ramp. You say like, okay, cool. I have it to myself pretty much. How did your day go?
It was not very good. It was just pouring down rain. It was just terrible. I don't really mind that too much, but the water was rising. I wasn't worried because I do this float all the time, and I've been out there before when it's, unfavorable and flooded, but I wasn't worried about that. But it just didn't go very good. I think my first fish, I thought it was a giant, and it was like the biggest catfish I've ever caught. So that can kind of tell you how my day went. But I did get a limit, which I was happy about, but it was a small limit, like 12s, 13s, out of that same hole that I just told you about.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. So I had to deal with that, but I was happy to get a limit. But it did make me think, maybe I should have tried a different float or something. But, I was happy. The only reason I caught any fish was with the tubes that I had gotten at Jake's. So nothing.
Huge shout out to Jake's for the tubes.
Yeah, nothing I would normally use worked for me, so I was just kind of struggling.
Well, then with that said, being your home water, were you happy with the performance there? Because you come off of the Tidal Potomac, the Conowingo, the conditions weren't great though. Do you walk away from that frustrated because you expected better, or you're like, hey, I got a limit?
No, I was frustrated with this one, with it being my home water and just the size of the fish that I know are in there. I was a little frustrated. I mean, still happy that I got a limit, but I wasn't super happy. I did think I could have done better.
It's your first full limit though of the year, so you got that.
It is.
You got that now in your back pocket. After this event, what was the next one that you'd be fishing?
Well, I forgot too, but that was in like conjunction with the Smallie Chaser series. So I fished with them too. And then I did go out the next day and fish, even though it was really flooded and I probably should not have. A lot of people opted to like not go. So technically, my next one was the next day on Sunday. I did decide to put in further up and then still float to where I would normally get out. It was kind of the same. It was muddy, really small limit. I did catch an 18.5 randomly, but so that was that, and it was okay. I ended up, I don't know, I think like 7th in that. So it did get me. I qualified for the Virginia Bass Nation Championship.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be able to go to that from that weekend. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you were able to salvage the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So then Shenandoah River, it sounds like it was a really solid weekend all in all. Where are we going from here in this journey?
Life kind of happened. So I had to take a little bit of a break from fishing I'm trying to think of when my next tournament was.
Did you fish any more MVKBA events like the Battle of Five Lakes
No,
or?
I really wanted to. I was in the middle of selling. I sold my kayak, so then I didn't have a
Oh,
motor, and I could have, paddled, and I just couldn't get prepared and couldn't do it.
so from there, was the next one you fished the Susquehanna?
No, it was the Susquehanna in July. That was my next tournament because life kind of happened like end of May, June. I wasn't really able to fish too much, kind of did some fun fishing, but my next tournament was the Susquehanna. So I signed up for that. It was I didn't even know if I could go. I signed up Wednesday, the day that registration ended, and then just decided to go after work on Thursday
Mm.
and headed up there. I knew a lot of people would be up there that I know, but it was very last minute.
Was that a bad life thing or a good life thing? Not getting into it.
Uh, what do you mean? Like,
Or you said like you had to stop because of life things.
oh yeah, bad life things. Yeah, I couldn't really fish too much, so that kind of wrecked my season a little bit. That's kind of why I had to. There's a giant gap.
Was it hard to bounce back when you deal with stuff like that are off the water?
It was. But really, it made me more thankful to be able to fish. I remember the first time I was able to go back out. I think that was in the beginning of July, and it just made me like more thankful, really, to be out there and to catch fish. But it was hard, like because I took a big break, and just mentally, I think you need to be in the right headspace to fish and enjoy it, and to have fun. So it was hard.
When you got the Susquehanna, you get to go to the Susquehanna, and it sounds like it's not just getting back on the water, but it's almost therapeutic to get back out there, get back into the pattern of behavior. What was that event like? Because there's probably a lot going through your mind with that.
It was crazy. I got up there Thursday, and I stayed in a hotel, and there was a bunch of other kayakers there. And I did not pre-fish on Friday. I just kind of messed around with my rods and rigged everything, and then I went to check in, and I knew a lot of people there from really social media, like that I had never met before, but we kind of know each other, you could say. So I got to see a lot of people. I got to meet Christine
Oh,
and
cool.
yeah, and Scylla was there, and I got to meet Wesley and like all the other girls that fish. That was really cool. And then the place I was staying was a little bit interesting. I didn't really want to stay there again, so I ended up staying at the Airbnb with Scylla and Wesley and some other people. So that kind of changed my whole game plan. We ended up doing a float each day.
Hmm.
So, I took my autopilot up there, which was a little questionable. I knew it wasn't going to be very
Yeah.
good. I did not want to. That's kind of why I'm, not running that anymore. But I did take it up there, and we just ended up doing a float. I put my kayak on Scylla's trailer and just kind of went with the flow of like what they were going to do because they had been there before. It didn't bother me. I had never been there, so I was just excited, for someone to show me around and fish with people I knew.
That's got to be what's crazy about that is sometimes it's not about the fishing. When I got to stay in a house with a bunch of guys that were like great anglers, good content creators, I didn't care about fishing more. It was like how much I was learning when I was off the water, just chilling and just talking to them. That's got to be a weird kind of like how things happen for a reason where the first place you were staying doesn't work out. And now you get to stay in a house with a bunch of great anglers. Did you pick up a lot of information?
I did. It was really cool. And we had so much fun. Like, that was more fun, than fishing, just being with them and like making new friends and eating together dinner, all that stuff is so fun. But I did learn a lot, and that kind of helped me with my choice, like to get a new kayak and a trailer because they all have trailers, and like it's just so much easier. You can load your kayak and just back it into the water, and because my autopilot was very heavy. I remember on the Potomac at Mattawoman, I obviously had never been there, so I didn't know you could get your kayak out at the bottom, like, and there's a kind of like a kayak boat ramp that nobody
Mm.
uses. It's really for boats, I'm sure, but nobody uses it because it's not. I don't know. It wasn't the greatest, but I didn't know I could drive down there and get everything out. So luckily, I had Boondocks on my autopilot, and Trey Leach put that on, but I had to get help just to wheel it all the way down there. It's so heavy, so I did learn a lot and kind of picked up on what they were using because it's a different river. way
Yeah.
different than I feel like the Shenandoah is. I mean, I caught fish up there, but I did not get a limit either day. I caught like 3 or 4 fish, which I was happy with because I had never been there before or fished it. So, but it's just way different. So I definitely watched, what they were doing to try to get a good hang on things.
So you had some thoughts about maybe what you want your kayak setup to evolve into with the trailer and stuff. I guess in the timeline of the story, is this where you went kayak shopping again?
Yeah, we talked about it, and I decided when I got home I was going to sell my kayak. And as soon as I got home, I listed it, and I did have someone. He lives near, I think, Lake Gaston or somewhere down there. He decided he wanted to buy it from Facebook, and I was like, okay. He came and got it like within a week, and then I started, shopping, and called Dugout and had them rig this for me because I knew what I wanted. Like it's like the kayak of my dreams or whatever, and probably a lot of other people because you know what you want, like the Newport and all of that, like, and the motor on the autopilot, like it's all great, but it's stationary, and if you hit a
Yeah.
rock, I was so scared. I didn't even use it, which was maybe dumb. At the Susquehanna, I floated and just used my rudder, and I paddled, and that's like a ship. So
Yeah. Yeah. That'll wear you out real quick.
yeah, so I do not recommend.
So now that you got I believe it's a Hobie 14, correct?
Yeah, it's a PA 14 and it has the pedal drive, and I have a NK 300 on it, and I have the new rock guard from Innovative Sportsman.
Okay.
So I'm excited to use that.
Huge shout out to Trey because like that without that rock guard, man, you cannot have a Newport or Torpedo on the Shenandoah. It
No,
will die real
I
quick.
know. I'm so excited to use it. I just put it on the other day, and it's back there on the floor behind me. I just put it on, and I'm so excited to use it. All the boat ramps are covered in mud, so I haven't been able to go out yet. But as soon as I do, I feel more comfortable because I'll be able to. I'm hoping, I can go upriver and stuff just because of like my life kind of changed. Because what I would do before is I had a ride. I would get dropped off at a spot and then, move my truck or something like that. But I can't really do that anymore. So now I'm hoping like with the pedal drive and the new motor, like I'll be able to go upriver and to areas I haven't been to before. So I kind of have to change my whole way of fishing around.
Which is probably a good thing because, fishing upriver is going to give you way more opportunities for success versus floating. And this kayak is going to be a complete game changer for you going into next year.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And it'll help me too with the Native Big Bass Power Hour next week and for the championship, the Virginia Bass Nation on Lake Anna. Never been there. So that's where that is.
When is that? Is it November?
Yeah, it's November 16th, so it should be pretty cold.
Yeah, that's going to be cold. Are you going to try to pre-fish?
I am. I might go this weekend and pre-fish. I'm hoping to like maybe it's not that far for me, an hour and a half. I'll drive that, maybe this weekend and a few times because I know that it's hard. It's because I never made it up there with NVKBA when they went. I had signed up and then, the date got changed and I just couldn't make it the weekend that they changed it. So I've still never fished there. So
it is definitely an interesting it's an interesting fishery. It will give you a lot of experiences though if you don't feel comfortable like skipping docks, fishing clean deep water.
I don't know how to do any of that.
And it's hard because growing up in the Shenandoah Valley, you're used to 6 inches of water, rocky smallmouth. Like that's what you cut your teeth on, and it is tough when you leave that going down south or to the Tidal Potomac. And that's why it is impressive when you have people that come out of this area. Daniel of Big D TV, same thing. Growing up here to take him and okay, he went to Kerr and did well. Well, that is more impressive when you're used to fishing a place that you can walk across. It's so shallow.
Mm-hmm. I know he's done so well. He did so good at the James, I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I hate to skip around, but I have done 2 boat tournaments like he does.
Oh,
And
cool.
I was a co-angler twice at Smith Mountain Lake 2 years ago now. I did the Piedmont and Shenandoah division. So I went to both of those, and that was hard. I didn't catch anything either time. So
What was the experience like though? Like that's completely different than a kayak.
yeah, it was way different. It was fun being on a bass boat and just getting to kind of run around and fish, but it was cold, which it's okay, but it was really cold and windy for both of those tournaments, and it's hard to balance on a boat. Like on the back of the
Hmm.
boat, definitely almost fell a few times. But I was lucky. I had two really good boaters, so I had a good experience. But both times, it Smith Mountain Lake is where it was. It was just tough for me. And the boaters, we none of us, I don't know if we were just not in a good area, but we did not catch anything.
It's tough. Then that time of year can be very, very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Is that something? Where do you think right now? And I know you have so much probably going on in your life. This is a whirlwind of only 4 or 5 years. But what is your plans for next year? Have you kind of set them yet? Do you have an idea of what you want to do tournament fishing wise?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. So I really want to fish, like you did the whole NVKBA series from start to finish. I want to do all of that. Um, I'd like to do all of MAKBF, but I like how they do the 2 day, like the whole weekend is a tournament, in like two different places or 2 days. I'd like to do that. I don't know if I can fully commit to that, but I'd like to do more of those. And I'd like to do the Bassmasters, but you know, I I'm gonna stick to definitely doing the Susquehanna if they go there and just close. But I'll have to see like what the year looks like because I would definitely travel and go there, and just work it out with like my job and everything if I could. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
What do you do for a living?
I work with kids and families that kind of need like extra support. They're involved with like social services, so we have like a residential deviation program. Yeah. So, it's to keep them out of facilities and try to keep, them with their family and just help them with, whatever they're going through. So we do like parent mentoring, intensive in home and stuff like that. And I do their billing. I kind of do both. I do a little bit of everything.
So do you actually work with the kids and the families then?
I do not completely. It's not as much as it was. I interned with them when I was in college because I went to college for human services. So I interned with them and then went on with them full time. So I help out. Like this week, we're really like yesterday, we're really understaffed. So I help out when they need me, but we're so busy. Like I take in the referrals and things like that, and kind of process that and send it to my supervisor so we can put the kids with mentors and stuff like that. So I do a little bit of both, but I'm more doing like the back end, like when it comes in.
That's probably better for your mental health because that's got to be a brutal, brutal career.
It is. I mean, it's worth it for sure to help the kids and families, but it's tough. Like I see the other mentors, that work with me, and you take it home and you just want to help everyone that you can, and it doesn't happen in one day, and it's really hard sometimes, or most days are really hard. So it's hard to not take it home with you and kind of focus on that. So you kind of it's easier said than done when you have to like leave it at the door and try to go on about your life, but you can't. It doesn't work.
How do you cope?
Well, I'm lucky. I don't have too much. Like I do work with them, but it's not like an everyday thing for me. So I'm able to switch and like go do my other things, like I do a lot of spreadsheets for them and send reports and stuff like that. So I'm able to kind of separate from it a little bit. But other people, like they're full time with the kids and the families. That's all they do. So I think what you have to do is like go fishing or do what you like to kind of decompress. You just have to do something like whatever works for you.
It's interesting because I wonder if this also helps you so much when it comes to tournaments when you jump in the Conowingo, in the spring and you drive home. But because of your job and what you deal with, it's a lot easier to block out the bad days and just move forward.
Yeah, I do feel like that. I just think there's a lot of bad in the world, so I'm more realistic about things. So I'm one of those people that's just really happy to be fishing, and the tournaments. If I do bad, I mean it upsets me, but not maybe like it would other people, because I'm just grateful to be out there because it can be taken from you really fast. Like you just don't know what life is going to bring to you. That's kind of how I feel about it. So Yeah, I feel like I'm able to just kind of let it go, and just tomorrow's a new day.
And that's what you have to have. That's the perfect attitude, whether it's trying to be, an angler or build up a social media presence or whatever. Because, I've learned this now more too, that there's a lot of people online that will comment weird things and stuff. And
Yeah, people are so mean.
oh God, they are. Yeah. They're terrible.
I don't know why.
I just have this, I do post and ghost, generally speaking. And if you comment, you're just not a person. I have to have that buffer that unless I'm talking to you in person, face to face, I can't assume that the comment is actually what a person would say. Cause I just don't think people would talk like that in real life.
I don't think so either. I'm lucky. I haven't really had any hate or like any of those people that are like, oh, just get a bass boat. I haven't had that yet. Nothing mean, but maybe if my social media grows more, I probably will have that. And I know a lot of other people get that all the time. Like they'll post about it, and it's just so mean because they would never say that in person.
It's
So,
also good though to think of it on the other end that once you get big enough, because the haters come, the
yeah,
weirdos come, and I guess it's just the nature of the beast, honestly.
there are a lot of weirdos on TikTok.
There's a lot of weirdos on TikTok and Instagram. YouTube is not as bad, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really do YouTube, but I'm really trying to start. Like I watch a lot of Daniel's videos, and I want to do that. Like just try to have a presence on there. And you can get paid from doing that. I know a lot of people that do that. So if I could, that's like my end goal, to get paid to go fishing.
No, and you're well on your way with everything you've going on right now. Was TikTok or Instagram? What was your first social media platform that you really tried to start building a resume on?
I think it was Instagram. I started posting on there a lot, and I got a lot of followers. It was kind of like at the same time. Then I would just take, short little videos and put them on TikTok. And I remember like overnight, one of my videos blew up just from fishing the lake back here behind my house. I caught, it's small now, but it was my PB. It was like a 3.5 pound largemouth. So I was so excited. I got like 150,000 views or something crazy on TikTok.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know how I got a lot of likes and stuff on that. So I think then people kind of came over from TikTok to Instagram, and I was really consistently posting, and my social media did grow. It's kind of like it's gone down now because I haven't really been posting. I got to get back to that, but it was kind of both at the same time, I would say.
It's a grind. You just got to keep being consistent with it. Honestly, I think you're gonna have a bright future with all the social media stuff. Just got to keep plugging away at it.
Yeah, yeah, you do. And I think reels are like really popular. Everybody wants to scroll through the reels, so I think that is what I need to do. So I haven't been able to fish much over the summer, but as soon as the boat ramps are clean, I'm hoping to go out there and I'm going to go down Riverton and go up the South Fork and see what I can make happen.
Since I'm not right in that area that you are, like how bad are the boat ramps and how badly was that part of the Shenandoah affected by the storms?
It was really bad. I went to Riverton on Monday, and I went there Sunday because I wanted to put the new kayak in because it's deep water, and that's where everybody takes their boats. So I wanted to go there, and the river was still high. I didn't even look at the ramp. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to go there. And there were no cars, and that place is packed all the time.
Wow.
So there wasn't a car. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to go to Lake Frederick. I didn't fish. I just, kind of wanted to make sure everything floated and worked. So I went there, but then I went to Riverton on Monday because I wanted to fish, and it is completely covered in mud, like all the way to the top.
Jeez.
And yeah, and Luray Avenue at the dog park behind Skyline. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook. That is completely underwater. Still was underwater on Monday, and that's gravel. They do have a concrete ramp, but completely underwater. I have no idea when that will be able to be used again. I do like to put in there sometimes, and since it's gravel, I mean, I'm sure it'll be like a trench when the water's. Because I did go there a few weeks ago after the last big storm we had, and there were ruts. I mean, it was, you couldn't drive your car through it. I mean, it would just go down. So then it is wrecked. And I saw Goonie on Facebook, Goonie Creek. That was pretty much to the end of the road before the big parking lot. That was completely flooded. So I don't know when we'll be able to go back.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm hoping the water will start getting right here shortly. And some people are commenting that the water is getting better, but like you said, the boat ramps,
Yeah.
Lonnie messaged me and said like all the boat ramps that were just destroyed. And
They are.
I, I don't know if the state's going to be able to help us or if we're just going to have locals go out there with machines and help clean out some of these boat ramps. It's insane.
I know. I would help, like, if somebody wants to go out there, because I think the river didn't look too bad. Like, I think, you could at least go to Riverton. The South Fork is really bad, though. Even today, it didn't look good to me. So I think it could be worse, like, where the North and South Fork meet. I don't know what it looks like down there. I haven't been on 66 or anything, but at least from Riverton down on the North Fork, it looks okay. But, probably should just be safe and wait another week.
Yeah,
But,
no, for sure.
yeah.
If you had to pick one bait to give somebody this time of year to have success on the river, what would it be?
It would definitely be a jerkbait. It would be a mega bass Vision 110. I actually have one here. I thought you might ask me. So this is, I guess, my little secret. I don't know. This is the Pro Perch color. I don't know if you can see that.
Ooh.
Yeah. You can probably see all the teeth marks, but this is the color that I use, and it's matte. When it's cloudy, I really like that one, and I use this one too when it's sunny. So.
I love that color. What got you turned on to that color? That's a brilliant idea.
Well, where I fish, I catch a lot of bluegill, sunfish, whatever you want to call them, and I just really liked that color, and I thought that it would do well, and that is what I do really good on. So I guess I'm telling my secrets. But I told Jenny she needs to get some at Jake. She might have. I'm not sure, but it's a really good color for me.
Well, Jenny, if you're listening to this, which I know you probably will be, yeah, get those in ASAP. What's your setup? What do you like to throw that on?
I throw it on a Shimano X Pride B casting rod and a Shimano Curado 70 HG, I think it is.
That's a perfect setup.
Yeah, well, I watch a lot of tactical bassing, so I really like to jerkbait fish. Like I remember last year, I didn't have that set up, and it worked. I did still catch a lot of fish, but I liked it. I really wanted to have something I could count on, so that's what they recommended, and it is like the perfect jerkbait setup for me. And
do you have any other baits there?
I do. Well, I have another jerkbait. Jerkbait obviously is my favorite, but this is Pro Blue. I really like that color.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I do have this tube here. This is from Fish or Die Bait Company, and it's called Pine Tree Shilling. And yeah. But it's like a sand color. I don't know if you can see.
Oh wow, that's a cool color. I like that.
Yeah, it's really nice. This is a 3.5-inch tube. It's called the U-boat. But this is all I've used, especially this color. Not when it's muddy. I did use a Great Lakes Finesse goat. What is this? Juvie Crawl. Jenny showed me those, so that worked really good for me. So it's black. I really like that one.
Yeah, I don't know why those darker colors work. I've always been fascinated how those darker colors in a clean river can produce so well.
Yeah, this works so good, and I just think it's. I like the claws on it. It's really nice. But this tube is all I use when the water's clear, and it's kind of a different color. But I think up north they use this color, and it's worked well for me here.
That's so cool. Emily, I really appreciate you coming on here. This has been a long time coming. Sorry it took so long to get you on the show. Is there any sponsors we can promote or anything that we can really make sure gets out there to the public?
Nextcast, they're a faith-based apparel company, and they're in North Carolina, and they just have like a really good mission, and they have really nice apparel for fishing. Their sun shirts are nice, and they have just normal like cotton t-shirts. They're so nice, and just the mission is good. And Fish or Die Bait Company, and they're actually at Tackle Warehouse now. So they were like one of the first people to ever send me anything and kind of put me on like their pro staff. But their tubes are awesome. Everything they make is kind of different, like I've never seen before. So they're definitely doing really good. So.
And then if people want to follow you, where can they follow you?
Instagram, It's M Reinhardt Fishing. I have a Facebook page, same thing, and TikTok, same thing. So my username's the same for everything.
And as always, guys, link in the episode description to everything that we talked about. Please go give her a follow. Go check her out on other social media platforms. Watch this career really take off going into 2025. And if you guys want to, go check us out on Patreon. We are running a tournament here in the next couple of weeks. Also, we have that nonprofit Casting for Conservation, hopefully going online in 2025. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.